Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the second project call of the new year. It is January 13th, and we've got a great but quick set of updates for you today. Starting off with the weekly calendar, we have on Wednesday, January 15th, the add-ons community meeting. That happens at 16:30 UTC, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. You can see a link in the wiki agenda for the Zoom meeting room. And on Thursday, January 16th, we have the add-on show and tell. We encourage you to bring your add-ons related projects to our monthly demos meeting. That happens at 13:30 UTC. That's 7:30 a.m. PST, so a bit early for you West Coast folks. The agenda and Zoom link are in the wiki agenda for this meeting. And with that, we are going to move to our speakers. We have two speakers scheduled today. First up is me with your weekly Firefox update. Firefox 72.0.1 is our current stable release. The major release shipped last Tuesday and delivered fingerprint script blocking by default for all users, a less annoying notification request indication, and picture-in-picture support for Mac and Linux users. The major release was followed a day later by a security update for a type confusion bug in our JS engine that was being actively exploited. So if you have not updated your Firefox yet, you should go to the Firefox hamburger menu, select About Firefox, that is for Windows and Linux, make sure it's updated. You can get it from the Applications menu on Mac, but it is crucial that you update your Firefox as soon as possible. Firefox 73 is now in the beta channel. That release will hit our stable channel on February 11th, so about a month away. Firefox 74 is in the nightly channel, and we saw about 400 bugs resolved as fixed in the first week of this cycle. Here are some of the notable changes that landed in the last week. The OS Compositor, the Web Render OS Compositor, has been enabled on Mac OS, bringing it up in line with Windows. The Web Render itself is not enabled by default on Mac, so it will not take effect, this new OS Compositor, unless you enable Web Render in About Config. Firefox now has profile data import from the Edgeium browser. That is the new Chrome-based Edge browser on Windows and Mac. Exciting addition, as it is at least, I believe, rumored, if not confirmed, that this Edge release will happen this week, perhaps as early as Wednesday. Gecko View on the mobile front now has enable and disable extension support. We're slowly but surely progressing on our extension support for Gecko View and the Phoenix next generation Android browser. Gecko View's About Config also got an update with a change to its visual styling. And last week, if you were on Nightly, we had a couple of painful regressions that have now been fixed. I apologize for those on behalf of the team. One that caused your pin tabs to be reordered from sort of right to left. So they were you had to drag them to reorder them. And the other one, a little more serious, caused a loss of all of your pin tabs. And that one was kind of ugly. We don't like to see that kind of data loss in Nightly, but it does creep up every decade or so. With that, we are going to move to our Emerging Technologies update. That's you, Allie.
Hello, everyone. So we have a bunch of things that happened. A lot of new stuff happening in the new calendar year for us here. For example, we published our annual top Mozilla hacks for 2019 post. So if you want to know all sorts of things that are happening for developers and designers and folks who write code and what they were most interested in last year, we have a post on hacks that outlines the things that were most popular with our readers last year. We also had a flurry of new hacks posts in December, including about the developer needs assessment we ran on MDN. This was a large survey of over 20,000 developers, asking them what pain points they have with web development. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the survey, it is quite interesting and highlights both good and bad what's going on in the web platform for folks out there. And we also put up a bunch of new content on our Mozilla Developer YouTube channel, including a post called Why Are There 4 Firefoxes that gives detail about all the different channels like Nightly and Beta and Developer Edition and what's in them and why they're different. It's been pretty popular. So if you are a member of the community and are like, I don't really understand why Nightly is different from Stable or Beta, this is a really good chance to help you educate yourself or help you educate other people out in the community about all the different flavors of Firefox. We also have AV1 out in the world. Last week was CES, which is a huge annual consumer electronics event that's held in Las Vegas. And as part of all that announcement activity, both Samsung and LG demonstrated new 8K TVs with support for AV1 streaming video, which brings our royalty-free media technologies out into the world on way more devices. Netflix also has a public-facing AV1 encoded content on their website, which you can enjoy in Firefox, as you should. 2019 was a really, really big year for AV1 adoption, and this is great news for us and great news for the industry and consumers in general. But very specifically, the royalty-free is a massive improvement in the way things are done and a huge cost savings. We also have some great community awesomeness as well. Last week we mentioned that we'd enabled localization in the Mozilla Web Things Gateway through Pontoon, and that's our community translation platform. And at the time, we were really excited. We had 10 translations completed. Now, just a week later, we're up to 24, which is a phenomenal amount of work by our community, and we're really, really excited about it. So thank you to all of our community members who were busily translating away. As always, we really, really appreciate the great work that you're doing. In other words, Web Things Gateway, we've packaged work that makes it easier to install and use Gateway on Linux and Raspberry Pi, and doing a whole bunch of code cleanup, which includes a cleanup of our Arduino library. So a lot of great stuff happening in Web Things as well. And with that, I will wrap up for this week.
Thank you, Ali. We have a couple of late-breaking additions to the agenda, so I am going to reload. And next up, we have Mike Hoy with an update on Google Summer of Code and Engineering Org Lightning Talks. Mike, take it away.
Thanks very much, Asa. I just wanted to mention again that we are organizing the proposals right now for participating in Google Summer of Code 2020. Unlike last year, where all of this lived in the wiki, this year our application is coming together on GitHub. If you have a proposal, please get that in. I would like to be able to get our first pass at a proposal into Google before we actually set our feet in Berlin, because that's going to be a busy week for us. But of course, we will have time to update and revise that proposal up until the deadline. So if you need that time to talk about it in Berlin, please do so. I'm hoping that we can put together somewhere on the order of 15 to 20 good candidate projects as we have in previous years. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got. Templates are all there. We're taking pull requests. You know how this works. Next thing is I'm also charged this year with the Engineering Org Lightning Talks on Thursday in Berlin. We're assembling those right now. We're going to make a decision about those on Friday. As always, and this is always a bunch of difficult decisions for us, we get a lot more great participation and a lot more great proposals than we have space in the time slot for. So these talks are going to be not limited, I hope, to Engineering Org participants, but they will be focused on engineering topics. Please get your proposals in. If you're not sure where to send or what spreadsheet to put those into, let me know. I think it's in your inbox, but if not, I'll help you out. And for those of you who put in a proposal that doesn't get accepted, we're going to have some follow-on actions for that, and we're working towards building a more interesting set of engineering show and tell work in the next couple of weeks so that people will have a forum to show the things they're working on and a bigger audience for the work that they're developing in the near future after that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And for those of you who do not make it into the lightning talks for the all hands, a program reminder that this is your opportunity to share interesting Mozilla related topics. If you can fit them into 3 to 5 minutes, we welcome you. Please email me, asa@mozilla, and we'll get you on the agenda. We have a calendar update that came in just as I started the meeting, and that is Wednesday, January 15th. We have another set of installments of the Homebrew Website Club. The Homebrew Website Club is a growing worldwide network of meetups for everyone who wants to take back their web experience from the social media silos and own their online identities, content, and interactions. We have meetups happening in Berlin, Pullman, and San Diego. You can see a link in the agenda for details of those cities and RSVP. With that, I believe we move to the closing section of our meeting where we say hello to some new Mozillians. And this week we have one introduction coming to us from New York City. Carolyn, you have an intro?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'd like to introduce Alex Dallenberg, who's joining Pocket as a recommendations editor. So as a recommendations editor, he's going to be helping to curate across all of our recommendation spaces, so exceptional stories for the Firefox new tab, for our Pocket Hits email, and other recommendations products that are in development currently. Alex joins us. He was previously a senior editor at The Week magazine, where he helped to curate and condense the very best of the US and international media each week. He's going to be remote and based in New York City. So please help me welcome him.
Welcome, Alex. Before we wrap up, a quick programming note. Next Monday is a US holiday, so this meeting will not be happening. The following Monday, we are in Berlin for the semi-annual All Hands, and so this meeting, again, will not be happening. The Monday after that is up in the air. We'll all be returning from Berlin, and so we may or may not have that meeting. Stay tuned for updates in your inbox as to whether that meeting in February will be happening. With that, we are all wrapped up for the week. Hope you have a great one. Until we see you next time, keep on rocking the free web.